Following a dramatic day in the Israeli Supreme Court, tensions are running high in Israel, which is already dealing with tremendous pressure from both the war in Gaza and the Northern Front. As mentioned, there were large protests against even the threat of an IDF draft for the ultra-Orthodox community. Here to speak with us about this challenge is former MK Rabbi Dov Lipman. Rabbi Lipman, thank you for joining us today. I would like to start by asking you, why is there such a strong aversion to serving in the IDF in much of the Haredi ultra-Orthodox community?
This actually goes back over 75 years when the state was first founded, where the religious side saw the secular founders of the state of Israel as being leaders who wanted to create a state without religion, without Torah study. They saw them as atheists and a threat to Israel's future. And they circled the wagons and they said, we will have no part of what's happening in this state. And unfortunately, we have a leadership on the ultra-Orthodox side and certainly the power makers in the Knesset that are still taking that stance and not aware of the massive changes that have happened in Israeli society since then. But it all comes back to this place of we are afraid of our young men going to the army, becoming secular, and therefore we will not have a part of this effort.
What is your take on the dramatic events in the High Court yesterday? Do you believe the government is right to be fighting against an ultra-Orthodox draft? And why did it even get to this point in the court? I mean, has the Knesset failed to deal with this issue adequately?
There are two dramatic issues that are taking place at the same time. One is the war, in which even ultra-Orthodox Knesset members in the Shas party have mentioned we have to change our stance. You're seeing 35, 40-year-old reservists going back for tour of duty after tour of duty when you have 18 to 22-year-olds who could be going and taking part in this effort. We know we have a lack of manpower, and that is bringing most of Israeli society against the ultra-Orthodox stance. The second point, though, is there were conservative justices who the ultra-Orthodox side thought would be in line with them, and they came out very hard in the court yesterday about this issue, saying we can draft 3,000 young men out of 63,000. We can do that. What has really happened in the Knesset is everyone has just punted, kicked the can down the road, and not addressed a boiling issue in Israeli society, which really has to be addressed as you have so many young men and women going to war and this massive number of exemptions. I will tell you, though, Emily, that on the street level in Haredi, in the ultra-Orthodox society, there are things that are shifting. There are young men who have access to internet. They see what's happening in the war. They have a conscience, and they do want to serve. So you are going to have forces within the ultra-Orthodox community as well that are seeking some kind of a change from what they've called the status quo for decades.
Now, what do you believe can be done on the part of the government as well as society in Israel to promote more integration, to incorporate the ultra-Orthodox society more into the state so they feel comfortable and want to serve their country as well?
This is an issue which I've been dealing with for over a decade, and I do believe that by speaking to the younger generation, instead of trying to get the rabbis necessarily to make public proclamations, to be careful about how things are said. Don't present it as a culture war. Don't present it as anything pejorative about the ultra-Orthodox, but present them with opportunity. You can be fervently Orthodox, religious. You can be a Talmudic scholar, and you can earn a livelihood for your family, and you can get an education, and you can serve your country. And I would also say we're just reading now the Torah portion for this coming week in the book of Numbers, where it mentions a few times in the very beginning of the Torah portion all the young men who are going to serve in the army. This is a part of who we are going back to biblical times. Do as much as we can to open up units in the army that meet the needs of the ultra-Orthodox in terms of prayer services, study, other cultural sensitivities. Come to meet them. Come with a message of we have what to offer you while you can remain religious and study Torah. And I think that's the formula to move forward. One last thing I'll mention is options for national service. They're already volunteering in huge numbers for Magen David Adom and for Hatzalah and for Zaka. Take those and concretize those as actual official service, and then you'll have massive numbers that are contributing and serving in an official manner that will also take away a lot of the tension over this issue.
Absolutely. Well, we know from the other interviews that we've done, even here at ILTV, that there are organizations and communities that are working very hard to support those ultra-Orthodox soldiers in Netzach Yehuda and other battalions as well. So thank you for the work that you're doing, and I'm hopeful we can come to a better solution in the future to resolve this issue. Thank you for your time, Rabbi Dov Lipman.
Thank you so much.